Freud found that there was some drive in most little children that he knew of, and in the analysis of adults when reconstructing their infancy, that fit with the pattern or with the Oedipal myth, the sexual Oedipal myth, that little children typically fell in love with one of the parents, wanted to marry one of the parents and leave the other one out, and that had something to do with not bearing the feeling of exclusion of the Oedipal couple, and the child not being a part of the couple, being the product of the couple, but not married to either mommy or daddy. Freud said this is the Oedipal conflict that children have, meaning children have a kind of conflict in their families at a certain age. Freud thought this happened in the third year of life, that is between ages 2 and 3, more or less, right? They have a kind of conflict that is reconcilable with the myth of Oedipus, right? Now, Freud was thinking of the sexual aspect. Bion took the later part of the myth, that is, what happened after Oedipus killed his father, not knowing that his father was his father. What happened after he committed incest, which from his point of view was not incest because he didn't know that his mother was the mother, nor did the mother know that Oedipus was the son, right? But what happened later on when Oedipus found out what he had done, not once but twice actually, that he had killed his father and he had committed incest, right? Therefore he uses the Oedipus myth, the Oedipal myth, in order to shed some light onto what he thinks is universal in all of us, that is, our drive to know, and the opposite. When what we come to know is unbearable, how do we manage to blind ourselves, right, so to speak? That is, how do we manage to damage our apparatus of thinking and understanding so that now we don't understand a thing, and we don't want to understand a thing, right? Now, Bion extends that, the getting to know and damaging one's ability to know, not only to the actual coming together of the parents, right, in a sexual intercourse, but he thinks that all coming together of two objects, like the mouth and the breast, any sort of link, creates a conflict to the mind, or to the little researcher, if you wish, right, that hurts him to some extent, and which is more hurtful to some than to others. And here again, innateness, as we said last time, right, the amount of ability to bear reality, or the amount of hate of reality launched or fueled by the excess of death drive is important. This makes a difference, right? Now you may ask, well, why is it hurtful for a child, or the child in us, to bear any link at all? For instance, the mouth and the breast, the baby and the mother and the father, the penis and the vagina. Why? What is the problem there? And the response is, the problem is it hurts our narcissism. You see? Well, if there is a mouth and a breast, it means that it is I, and there is an object that complements me. I'm incomplete without my object. My mouth without a breast is nothing. I can't live with a mouth without a breast. My mouth needs this object, and I need to link to the object, and this object needs to link to me. I need to create that link. Without that link, I'm not, what's the word? There's a word in English and in Spanish. I'm not viable. That's the word. I'm not viable. I can't live. You see?
Our very lives are dependent on our capacity to link.
Exactly.
And if we can't bear that, we kill off something.
Exactly. For you may kill off your understanding of the relation between the mouth and the breast, mother and father, penis and vagina, etc., and then you go on living without understanding a thing. Well, this is what happens to psychotics. They go on living, but they don't understand the world they live in. They have...
Robert,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, I think that's the idea of how one might blind oneself not to see the link. Is there always a component of the drive to know in that, the curiosity, in the sense of that coming prior to then the denial, as in the myth, right?
Absolutely, yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. The denial cannot happen if there is not prior a perception or an awareness of something that is too painful to bear and that then you want to deny. But we want to be aware that the damaging of the psychic apparatus is not denial. It results in not knowing, in blinding yourself, but in denial, the perception is still there, though it is denied. In the psychotic mechanism that Bion uses the Oedipus myth for, there is a damage done to the psychic apparatus. This is not denial.
That's an attack.
It's an attack on your apparatus, right? Denial is an attack, if you wish, on the object there is to know. You know and you deny, but you didn't do anything to your mind. The psychotic mechanism is so dangerous and so costly because it damages your psychic apparatus, and it damages your apparatus for everything, not just for one particular thing. If a child cannot come to grips with the Oedipal couple and needs to damage its apparatus in order to not perceive that, it has also, as a consequence, damaged its apparatus for everything else. Right? Though the initial step might be in order to not have to bear what he has already borne, that is, an early awareness of the parental sexual couple.
But how does the parental sexual couple help this child bear this?
Well, that I think is the question that we are going to discuss next in the next chapter. But today, yes, certainly. If at all, if that's possible, right? Now, let us give it another twist. This is now my version of Bion, my understanding of Bion. If we follow what Bion has said about the unbearability of the link, of the awareness of the link between mother and father, and extending that to anything that links or is linked, right? And the defense from that being damaging your psychic apparatus, and Bion says this is what happens in the psychotic part of the personality. He doesn't say this happens in the totality of the self. He says psychotic part of the personality. Then it would seem that in all of us there is an early psychosis that in some moment early on, a part of our apparatuses have been structurally damaged, and this is part of our nature. Right? Freud thought that neurosis, infantile neurosis, constituted our psychic apparatus, that the child learned things about reality and about himself, and that he couldn't bear, he repressed, right? And that his ego repressed what the child couldn't bear of himself, his own drives. For instance, the child wanted to kill the father and have intercourse with the mother. Now, Freud said the child ultimately represses that. He didn't say that the child goes psychotic. He said he represses that. First, because he is afraid that the father will punish him. That is what we typically know as castration anxiety, right? Father will do something to his penis or to his body or something like that. He represses that. But secondly also, because the child is aware that he is not mature enough to have really intercourse and make babies to the mother. He's only a little child. His genital is inadequate. So when the child finds that his desire is not feasible, the child represses the desire. But represses means that the desire stays, so it stays repressed in your unconscious. And that is a constitutional infantile neurosis. In that regard, the moment we have gone through the Oedipal conflict and we had to repress our incestuous desires towards mother and or father because we felt threatened, father or mother wouldn't love us anymore if we shot one or the other out or something like that, or because even if we tried, neither can the little girl bear a baby of the father, nor can the little boy make a baby to the mother. That gets repressed, and that inaugurates the infantile neurosis, right? Melanie Klein stated it a little bit different, and she said that the way the child gets to grips with that is through splitting. Therefore, there is, on the one side, his hate towards the parents or the mother or the father for the way they treat the child. Ultimately, mother offers the child the breast, but she doesn't give the breast away. The child still has to acknowledge that breast belongs to mommy, and mommy can loan the breast to the child for a while and then says, okay, darling, we are done for now. See you later, right? That what the child does with that is he splits it away, right? One part of his mind hates that, but if he puts that aside, he can still go on loving the mother, and the hate for that doesn't interfere with the love for the mother, right? Klein says that that is being put away, not repressed, but put away, projected out, returns for the child in the form of a paranoid anxiety, right? This bad mother or bad breast will now attack me from the outside because I threw it away. I threw it away because I hated it. For Klein, this inaugurated what she called psychotic anxieties. The paranoia of the paranoid schizoid position is a psychotic anxiety. Now, she didn't mean that all children are schizophrenics. What she did mean is that they have the kind of defenses and anxieties that, were an adult to have that, we would say this adult is psychotic or is